Hello. Today I would like to talk some more about wholeness. How the whole is much more than the sum of its parts. To illustrate this concept, I would like to use a beautiful piece of music performed beautifully. Knoxville, 1915. A text by James Agee, set to music by Samuel Barber, and performed by Leontyne Price. You may be familiar with James Agee's work, Let Us Now Praise Famous Men. It's a very beautiful book that was written during the time of the Depression to celebrate the farmers struggling to grow crops in the South. There were also photographs by various photographers, Dorothea Lange being one of them, Walker Evans, wonderful, beautiful photographs. In James Agee's poem, like Knoxville, 1915, he describes what it feels like to be a child in the presence of one's larger family members, feeling well loved, feeling embraced by the dynamic of the family and of the small world in which the child lives, but also being very aware of the mystery of life and the final query, who am I? Samuel Barber's music so beautifully illustrates the text with wonderful nuance of composition, with every thought expressed in the text. Beautiful, beautiful melodies. An elaboration on the text, a further elaboration added on to by Barber himself with his feelings of how and what the text means to him. And finally, this magnificent composition, this song, is performed by Leontyne Price. And once again, she brings her own feelings, her own interpretations of Barber's music and Agee's text, and creates another evolution of the grandeur of this piece. It is a beautiful illustration of how the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. I urge you to find this on YouTube. It's very easy to do so, and listen to it. Leontyne Price beautifully articulates the words, so you don't necessarily need to find the text, but if you wish to do that, it also adds a little bit more to your understanding if you're missing any part of it. Wholeness, that which underlies the relative field of life, is so much more than the sum of the relative field of life. When Agee says at the end of this piece that nothing and no one will ever tell him who he is. All that he need do is sit quietly with his eyes closed and meditate with an effective technique. He will transcend the relative field, transcend his mind, transcend the consciousness of the relative field, the waking, the sleeping, and the dreaming, and experience pure consciousness by itself experiencing itself. This is the wholeness that I speak of. Pure consciousness, divine being, that is your self, separate from the relative field, separate from the experience of the relative field, with the consciousness of waking, sleeping, or dreaming. This is who you are. And experience of this transcendent, this pure consciousness comes back with you when you return to consciousness of the relative field, to the waking, sleeping, or dreaming. Then your experience of the relative field is so much fuller with that experience of wholeness, the wholeness that is so much greater than the sum of its parts. So please join me. Explore who you are and know who you are. Transcend regularly and repeatedly in your meditation practice. Let us all meditate together. Thank you, beloved Guru. All glory be to thee.